For the past couple of weeks, I've been seeing, or even months, I've been seeing some of those charities that some royals or patron of are closing down. And if you look, I'm gonna pick several clips from different videos, and they're pretty much telling us what is actually going on. And we are seeing the result of what they are saying.
Thank you. Nice to see you again. I was just looking at, it's been a while since I last visited. So yeah, definitely when things get back to normal, I'd love to come and say hello to the team and everyone down there as well.
I think it was 2012 that you were last here.
No. It only seems like yesterday, Graham. It shows you how quickly time goes.
I think it was 2012 that you were last here.
No.
I think it was 2012 that you were last here.
No.
If you are a patron of a charity, why on earth do you take it if you know you're not gonna dedicate your time and energy on that particular charity? Take for instance the video that I have of Princess Diana. When they ask her why is she doing what she's doing, I forgot how the question goes, but why she's participating in those charities, and she said because she has nothing to do.
Royal Highness, you're currently concentrating very much on your charity work. Would you like to tell us why you feel it's so important to you?
I got nothing else to do.
Royal Highness, you're currently concentrating very much on your charity work. Would you like to tell us why you feel it's so important to you?
I got nothing else to do. Sorry.
Take two.
She has nothing else to do. So she's using her energy and her time on things that she cares about.
If you weren't here, Princess Diana, what would you like to be? What would you like to do?
Well, it would have been an area with people communicating on some level.
I think Diana had a great knack of making people feel at ease. She was a communicator. She could talk to anyone and make them feel relaxed. She was wonderful with the women. I'm sure you remember Jill. She would be very relaxed and friendly and warm and open, and she was very witty. She had a marvellous sense of humour. Would you like to participate? Oh, flush coming. I think we'll pass this forward. Rather than feeling amazed at this presence, I actually felt that I'd made a friend.
Turning Point's a national charity that works with people with drug and alcohol problems. She used to refer to us as one of her uncuddly charities. She always had a tremendous ability with people. I always felt that seeing her with people was like watching George Best play football. She was a natural. We were going around the room and she was saying hello to everybody and smiling and shaking hands and chatting to them. And she came to this guy, and I told her that this was the bloke who had the money. And he was stood there ready to sort of do his bit, and he didn't know whether to bow or curtsy, and sort of a bit tense. And then she went up to him and she said, "Oh," she said, "I believe you're the man with the money." She said, "Well, I want to see this project rehabilitated." She said, "I'm going to come back and see whether you've done it." And the poor guy was so phased, he was virtually fumbling for his wallet while he stood there. I thought he was going to sign the cheque there and then.
Reality for her was not a particularly enjoyable experience, and the fact that she had this to battle every day and ultimately to overcome helped her with that sense of appreciating what people who were really suffering terrible illnesses. The Prime Minister, Foreign Secretary, many of the ministers in government could see the benefit of Diana, both on the international stage and domestically. She was able to do things that politicians couldn't, and they recognized that, they admired her for it, especially when she started to bring the enormous symbolism and influence of royalty to very unfashionable causes. Just think about her impact on the AIDS debate in the United States. She went to the Harlem Hospital Center in 1989 and picked up a little African-American baby dying of AIDS. Nobody in public life had done that. Nobody in public life had even mentioned the word AIDS at that time. She was drawn towards the cause of AIDS, or leprosy, or mental illness. This was not run-of-the-mill routine royal work. To some of the other members of the royal family, this was a mystery. It mystified some senior members of the royal family that Diana should choose such demanding, such emotionally draining causes to support, because she didn't just turn up and shake a few hands, listen to a few speeches and disappear. She got very involved, engaged.
And you see the result of it.
But you know, I'm only trying to highlight a problem that's going on all around the world.
Not just to visit sick children, but to demand the world pay attention to them.
I met children who had suffered the most horrendous injuries.
Not just to record her good looks, but to listen to what she had to say.
The essential thing is not to have won, but to have fought well.
We were beginning to focus her power, and she was finding her voice. She was finding her voice as to why she was here and what she was here to do. And it wasn't within the royal family.
A well-spoken, independent woman using her fame to change the world.
She really, really wanted to deliver speeches better. I mean, it really mattered to her, especially at the beginning.
The key, Sadden kept telling her, was simply to be herself, the one they had discovered together. Talk to them, he said, like you talk to me. Now, he told her, to use that same sense of humor to convey her message.
She said to me one day, "You know, Patrick, I want to make a real Churchillian speech one day." And I thought, well, that's good, because, heck, you can't do better than emulate Winston Churchill. But what's she going to say? The thing about Winston Churchill was that he usually knew what he was going to say when he made his big Churchillian speeches. What was she going to say?
You don't have to pick 500 or 200 charities to show just to go and cut ribbons. If you're not passionate about it, don't do it. Because there are people who are relying on your presence. You're making them think that you're gonna help them, but you never did. You never did. So why take on something that you're not passionate about?
I have about 35, but that's less than some other members of your family, right? You all are doing it a little bit differently. Yeah. So how do you focus? By contrast, how many charities might other royals be affiliated with in different generations? The protocol may have been lending your name and using your name to create a halo around the organization that would benefit it. And it sounds like the younger royals are more about more than just name association, more direct action and involvement. So do you feel you're more hands-on? Is that fair to say?
Hundreds. My grandmother had to rewrite the rule books to a certain extent. My father and my mother have also done it their way.
My name is Harry, and I'm from London.
I think what started as an idea of me turning around and going, right, I've got a year off, I want to do something really constructive in my life. I want to do something that makes my mother proud. And someone says, right, go to Lesotho. It's like, where the hell's that?
So it is easiest to characterize this as a journey, that of a very bruised young man who has gradually made sense of his life.
I never really dealt with what had actually happened, and so it was a lot of buried emotion. And for a huge part of my life, I just didn't even want to think about it.
And it sounds like the younger royals are more about more than just name association.
Now I can see exactly where I want to take it. I have huge amounts of passion for the causes and for the interests and charities that I'm involved with. Lucky me that I've got the Prince bit. Lucky me that I've got the Prince bit, so that I'm actually passionate and able to make a difference.
More direct action and involvement. So do you feel you're more hands-on? Is that fair to say?
This comes out to the street smart. Wondering what she thinks cooking about. I said, look, there's really no point. Whatever you cook for that, it's never going to be good.
Thank you for coming for the launch of Together to celebrate this and the women of the Hub Community Kitchen. Working on this project for the past 9 months has been a tremendous labor of love. I had just recently moved to London, and I felt so immediately embraced by the women in the kitchen, your warmth and your kindness, and also to be able to be in the city and to see in this one small room how multicultural it was. On a personal level, I feel so proud to live in a city that can have so much diversity. It's 12 countries represented in this one group of women is pretty outstanding. So to the women of the Hub Community Kitchen, thank you so much for allowing me to be part of this adventure with you. I'm so privileged to know you. I'm so excited to see the projects you're going to continue to do in your own community, the community at large, and also how you're going to inspire people globally by sharing your stories and your recipes. It's so impactful. We can see just in a few days alone, and the book's not even out yet, what you've been able to do. That's a testament to what this means to people, and I'm so proud of you. So please enjoy a beautiful lunch. Another round of applause for the women of the Hub Community Kitchen, and cheers together. Thank you.
Sintibale meaning forget me not. Not only the flower, but the significance of saying Harry's mum, Princess Di, and my mum were both very strong figures. And what they were doing, we're carrying on their legacy.
How much was Say-So himself? Because you had this very unhappy bond, you know, both lost your mothers. The whole notion of starting a charity, how much of that was about, do you think, your connection with him?
I don't know, there was just this special bond that we both got it. I mean, he knew that I was there, he knew that I cared, he knew that I had passion to help in whatever way I could. And at that stage, I had no mechanism to be able to start a charity or make any more of an impact than just literally being the ginger white prince who's come to try and make these kids laugh. That's what it was. There's obviously a connection of some sorts, the fact that we both lost our mothers at different ages and in very different circumstances. But his mother stood for something, and my mother stood for something as well. To a certain extent, there's a lot of unfinished business, unfinished work that my mother never completed. I'm not suggesting that either of us is going to take on that mantle, but you know, naturally there is a crossover of some of the passions between myself and William that the two of us share with what our mother started.
His mother would be so proud of him. Harry has done great work for 10 years. I think he was 19 when he first went to Africa. And it's kind of taken a big part of his life over because he really cares.
More direct action and involvement. So do you feel you're more hands-on? Is that fair to say?
It's an incredible gift to have that talent, to have that ability to make people feel as if they are loved and they are appreciated and they are thought well of, that they matter. I haven't seen many people in my life being able to do that. His mother was one, Harry is another.
And there were people around her saying, you know, you shouldn't do this, you stay right away from it. But it empowered her.
Eating disorders, whether it be anorexia or bulimia, show how an individual can turn the nourishment of the body into a painful attack on themselves.
It made her feel powerful because she was saying, I know, and I'm fine. And now I'm going to tell all of you what it's like for the other ones.
She spoke from the heart.
Mm-hmm. With an edge of anger. It's like, read my lips. This is what it's like.
Stunned everyone.
Diana's success was at last making a difference. Her daring new style was bringing her closer to people she wanted to help. It was also taking her away from sterile royal life and into a new independent future.
When I started my public life 12 years ago, I understood the media might be interested in what I did.
In a speech for a charity luncheon in December 1993, she startled the crowd by announcing she was giving up most of the public charity work she cherished.
You don't have to pick 500 or 200 charities to show just to go and cut ribbons. If you're not passionate about it, don't do it.
I hope you can find it in your hearts to understand and to give me the time and space that has been lacking in recent years.
Diana would eventually go on to champion other causes. She was too bright a light to recede into the shadows. But that so-called time and space speech would be the last one Diana and Peter Sadden worked on together.
I offered up what I had. I think it helped her, and her world moved on.
Suddenly, Diana alone was in charge of her destiny. But by now, the princess had hit her stride. She was confident, prepared, and good at being herself.
And it sounds like royals are more than just name association.
Yeah, I'm only trying to highlight a problem that's going on all around the world. That's all.
Just her very presence could move mountains. Powerful messages delivered with the Diana touch. There's a famous photograph of Diana with a landmine victim on her lap.
And it sounds like royals are more than just name association.
That changed history, that picture. World leaders within 3 days changed the law on landmines, and everybody had been trying to do it for years. One picture. 90 journalists had traveled across the planet to be with her, to get a picture, and she said, yeah, you can have the picture, but she's in the picture with me, okay?
Because there are people who are relying of your presence. You're making them think that you're gonna help them, but you never did. You never did. So why take on something that you're not passionate about? I have videos of Prince Harry and one of Obama's summit. He pretty much said it. Here's the clip.
Bringing people together in order to effect real positive change is the only way forward. And you know, it worked for previous generations, and we will always say yes to becoming patron of a charity that we believe in and that we're incredibly passionate about. But I think in today's world, you have to be involved with things that make sense to where your passions lie, rather than potentially turning up to a charity once a year.
Thank you. Nice to see you again. I was just looking at, it's been a while since I last visited. So yeah, definitely when things get back to normal, I'd love to come and say hello to the team and everyone down there as well.
I think it was 2012 that you were last year.
No. It only seems like yesterday, Graham. It shows you how quickly time goes.
But I think in today's world, you have to be involved with things that make sense to where your passions lie, rather than potentially turning up to a charity once a year.
That Diana should choose such demanding, such emotionally draining causes to support, because she didn't just turn up and shake a few hands, listen to a few speeches and disappear. She got very involved, engaged.
I think it was 2012 that you were last year.
No. It only seems like yesterday, Graham. It shows you how quickly time goes. Has a lot changed? Obviously, these circumstances are not normal and things like that. But has a lot happened and lot changed there with you in Wiltshire?
Program, which is now nearly 40 years old, we've managed to retain the legacy and the effectiveness and the importance of the treatment of clouds. But we've also, especially with COVID-19, we've put things online that we never thought we could put online before.
Have you noticed a change in numbers contacting you? Are you having to go out and do your
when I've seen these clips many times before of what I'm seeing now as a result of not showing up or do fundraising for those charities. When you see those charities closing down, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised, because the people who care about what they are doing, they usually say things that's going on behind the scene. They don't tell you who's doing it, but you pretty much have an idea. So once, months, days, or weeks, you'll see the result of what he just said. Sometimes I don't even need to speak in the videos. I just pick clips of the things, and then you'll see the result of the previous clip. So take a moment to subscribe, like, and share. And this is what I guess now I probably gonna take my channel about it. I have it for a while. I never really post much because I didn't know what to post. I post silly stuff. But after following the Sussex squads on Twitter and on Instagram, they are very inspiring. These group of ladies, the minorities, they come together. Basically, to tell you the truth, they're not all black or Hispanic. There are white Sussex squads in the group too. So we pretty much embrace everybody. I'm not the top. I wasn't the one who created the Sussex squad, but seeing what's going on and participate or follow them, and they are very inspiring. They don't have much. They have them their wits and smartness to share their experiences with the squad, and they include anybody who's willing to do good in the world. So here's the clip. I think I went a little bit off topic a little bit, but here is the full clips of the videos. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share.
I don't think that's necessarily beneficial to anybody, but you know, our mental health campaign, Heads Together, back in the UK, is a classic example of where we were able to bring together 8 mental health charities that have been working in the sector for many, many, many years. But being able to bring them together and say, right, you guys have never sat around a table together and discussed the main issues. What we want to be able to do now is, through our foundation, create a platform in which your expertise and your experience is elevated. And therefore, you tell us what needs to be done around mental health within the UK and globally. And they said, if you can remove the stigma, that makes our life a lot easier. So that's exactly what we did. We tried to remove the stigma and tried to normalize the discussion around mental health.
The protocol may have been lending your name and using your name to create a halo around the organization that would benefit it.
Sedlin suggested that if she focused on the changes within herself, she would find her true passion.
Well, it would have been an area with people communicating on some level.
What do you feel your role is? What is your contribution?
I feel my role is supporting my husband.
She was ready to take the next step, to leave behind her glassy royal image and let the real Diana shine through.
The protocol may have been lending your name and using your name to create a halo around the organization that would benefit it.
But yeah, I'm only trying to highlight a problem that's going on all around the world.
Not just to visit sick children, but to demand the world pay attention to them.
I met children who had suffered the most horrendous injuries.
Not just to record her good looks, but to listen to what she had to say.
The essential thing is not to have won, but to have fought well.
We were beginning to focus her power, and she was finding her voice. She was finding her voice as to why she was here and what she was here to do. And it wasn't within the royal family.
A well-spoken, independent woman using her fame to change the world.
She really, really wanted to deliver speeches better. I mean, it really mattered to her, especially at the beginning.
The key, Sedlin kept telling her, was simply to be herself, the one they had discovered together. Talk to them, he said, like you talk to me. Now, he told her, to use that same sense of humor to convey her message.
She said to me one day, you know, Patrick, I want to make a real Churchillian speech one day. And I thought, well, that's good, because, heck, you can't do better than emulate Winston Churchill. But what's she going to say? The thing about Winston Churchill was that he usually knew what he was going to say when he made his big Churchillian speeches. What was she going to say?
And UN Women's Advocate for Political Participation and Leadership, Meghan Markle.
Well, good evening. That doesn't feel like enough, does it? It's just great evening. Maybe that's better. UN Secretary General, Executive Director Pumzile, thank you. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I am tremendously honored to be UN Women's Advocate for Political Participation and Leadership. To go unheard at the highest levels of decision making. The way that we change that, in my opinion, is to mobilize girls and women to see their value as leaders and to support them in these efforts. To have leaders, such as President Kagame of Rwanda, continue to be a role model of a country which has a parliamentary system comprised of 64% female leaders. I mean, it's the highest of any government in the world, and it's unbelievable. We need more men like that, just as we need more men like my father, who championed my 11-year-old self to stand up for what is right. In doing this, we remind girls that their small voices are in fact not small at all. It is said that girls with dreams become women with vision. May we empower each other to carry out such vision, because it isn't enough to simply talk about equality. One must believe in it, and it isn't enough to simply believe in it. One must work at it. Let us work at it together, starting now. Thank you so much.